Welcome back to my channel. This is Andy in Singapore. For today's video, we are going to do a really quick review of this Orient contemporary sports model. So there's no nickname or series line, model line for this watch. It is a rather newish collection. Reference number for the watch is RA-AR009L. Alright, so again, this is also known as some sort of open heart, small seconds, contemporary sports model. And for today's review, we are looking specifically at this one with the sky blue dial. So the entire series, I think they have probably 4 or 5 dial colors. I always think that Orient, when they do such a watch in this size, it sort of reminds me like the DJ41, which is the wrong size for this styling. Okay, unless you've got a really big wrist, such watches, they are always going to look really big on your wrist because this one here has a case size of about 41 millimeters and also it's got a really long L to L, closer to 49 mm. So you really need a bigger wrist to, carry off this look. And also, I don't quite understand which category this watch falls into exactly because it is obviously not a dress watch, and it also does not look like a real sports watch. So it's a bit of in between, and what's more, we've got this open heart complication here that lets you see the balance wheel. So I really don't know where this is coming from, but I assume that there is a niche market for this kind of design, this size, and with the quirky design features such as this open heart movement as well as the small seconds at the 6 o'clock zone. So do bear in mind that this is not the most entry level in terms of prices. This comes in at around 380 Singapore dollars, and you can definitely get this one from our boutique. This is where the watch was loaned in from, so special thanks to Eric and his team for so kindly and generously loaning me all these watches for my reviews. Let's zoom in just a bit to take a closer look at the Orient contemporary sports watch, and I'll share with you more details on the specifications. It's got a case size of just under 41 millimeters, coming in at around 40.9. Total thickness here is 11.2 millimeters. That's measuring from the base of the open case back to the top of the flat sapphire crystal. And it's got a rather wide lug width coming in at 22 millimeters. So again, I think this is due to the larger case size. So Orient has opted to design this 22 mm lug width, which is not a problem if you're looking for aftermarket straps. L to L distance here is rather long, coming in at around 48.3 mm. There is a bit of a curve to the mid case, as you can see from this shot here. But overall, I would say, it's on the longer side of things. And lastly, this has a crystal size of about 36.5 mm. So again, it's a big watch that's going to look big because there is no bezel, rotate bezel or anything like that. So it's mainly the dial, and if you put it in your wrist, it's going to look and feel rather big. So this open heart watch here is powered by Orient's in-house F6 S22 movement. Again, it's a very basic entry-level movement, no decorations of any sort found through the open case back. I wonder why they bother to include this feature. So, a closed case back would do just fine because we've got open heart design on the dial. Well, in terms of case design and finishing, we've got a good mix of brush and polished surfaces. But, in terms of finishing, it is nothing great. Very entry level. And just take a look at the bracelet. Just reminds me of those sub $200 type of watch. Alright, everything here is very basic. We've got the usual pin system, push pin system, hairpin system, and the clasp end links here, they don't look like something that is very high quality. So the only thing that is worth a shout here could be the sapphire crystal, because at this price point, I think it's nice to include the sapphire crystal. So coming to the overall dial design and the color combination, I would say this sky blue, this sunburst sun rays sky blue dial. You know, it does look pretty refreshing. Alright, so when you're tired of all the black, silver or white dials, then this one here gives you a touch of something new, something modern. Alright, so I'm liking the applied markers as well. They don't look like they have any lume on them. Alright, and of course we've got lume hour and minute hands here. Let's check out the lume on the Orient Contemporary. So I've just briefly charged up the lume plots with my torch, and here you see that the lume here is quite decent, but we've got really small bits of lume on the hour markers. The hands here are really nicely applied in terms of lume application. So I would say in terms of lume, this is not too bad, but don't expect anything that is like diver watch standard. Zooming out for a fake or wrist shot of the watch on my wrist, you will see that, you know, as I mentioned earlier in this video, this watch is going to feel as well as look big if you don't have a large wrist. So on my wrist, which is 17 cm, you can see that this is slightly on the bigger side of things. It's got a really big crystal size, and the L to L is just about the biggest that I can go for, alright, without having a very silly overhang or lug gap. So all thanks to the curve on the mid case, you will see that this remains still manageable for my wrist size. Maybe 10 years, 15 years ago, I would be into this look here, the slightly bigger watches, but these days I try to stay under 40 mm for the watches that I wear, you know, unless it's a really well-designed sports watch, probably 42, but if not, I think the maximum size should be about 40. Now let's do a size comparison between the Orient Contemporary and my own BB58. And here you can see that this is a really big watch, right? Mainly just dial here, all dial kind of design. You see very little of the case, whereas the BB58 has got this dive bezel here, and overall, you know, it's day and night when it comes to size. And these days I'm gravitating towards smaller watches. So in summary, I would say this Orient Contemporary is not everyone's cup of tea, right? So if you've got a bigger wrist, or if you like this look where the watch is slightly bigger, then probably this will interest you. Or if you are a fan of open heart movement dials and all that. So as it is, I think it is not going to be a very popular model, because since its release, nobody has talked about it very much. And you know, I generally see the reason why. It is way too big, and it sort of fits into nothing, alright? It's not a sports watch, it's not a dress watch, and it is very difficult to capture a target audience with this kind of design. Not to mention the overall price and quality that you're getting from this watch. There's a bit of mismatch, because this watch is around the high $300 zone, and these days you can get much better watches at this price range. So that was my honest review of the Orient Contemporary sports watch RA-AR009L. If you like this video, please remember to like and subscribe to my channel, because I've got new videos uploaded for you every week. This is Andy in Singapore saying goodbye for now, together with George, Pixie and the Blue Rolly Polly. We'll see you next week. Bye bye.